Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Wrinkled Podcast, episode 1. My name is Morgan. This is my co-host, Hunter. And we're looking to hopefully expand and grow some of those wrinkles in the brain. I mean, if you lose some, at least it's going to be a fun ride. You know, that's life.
A nice wrinkled brain for smooth talking.
That's right. There's definitely going to be some smooth talking.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, hopefully we grow some wrinkles. But if not, that's life. You win some and you lose some. So, what are we diving into first? What do you think?
Well, I think, like I said, I think one of the biggest things that have kind of been coming out lately is the NFL and the script. Mm-hmm. You know, I kind of want to focus more on like the comedic part of it more than anything. Like I said, there's just a lot of interesting things. You know, I'm sure you know who O.J. Simpson is.
I mean, yeah.
You know,
of course.
Yeah,
of course.
The most famous non-convicted serial killer probably in our generation.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, you know, because if the script were to exist and, you know, on draft day, OJ gets drafted, I think he got drafted to the Bills or whatever, gets drafted, they get handed him the script. It's like, oh, yeah, you're going to be like one of the most well-known players of all time. You're going to rush for like a crazy amount of yards. You're going to be like a star in like movies and shows and shit. And then they're going to go, yeah, by the way, you're going to have to kill your wife and her lover, you know. And he goes, what? But you want to play in the NFL, right? It's like, yeah, I want to play in the NFL. Okay, but you got to do this. I'm like, is that scripted? You know,
right.
Like, can they plan that like 20 years in advance? Be like, yeah, sure, why not? I guess,
didn't,
you know,
even when you started that, I'm like, where's this going? And I'm like, oh my God, that I can see the comedy behind that. Like, yeah, like, oh yeah, you can do this, but here's the catch, and there's always a catch.
Mm-hmm. Or Aaron Hernandez. I don't know if you know who that player is.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was a tight end for the Patriots. Like I said, one of the best at his position, you know, for the couple of years he was on the team at least. But he was on the infamous Miami team with like Tim Tebow,
right?
The Pouncey brothers, a couple other players on that team, you know. But again, that script would be funny to read too, because it's like, oh, by the way, like your college team is notorious for like having all these accusations and whatever the case is. And then not only that, you get to play with Tom Brady, who people consider the greatest football player of all time, you know, accolades wise and stats wise and everything. Right. He's just a great player overall.
Oh, yeah. And
then the script says, oh, by the way, your sister's going to get cheated on by her boyfriend and you're going to kill him. And nobody's going to find out for a couple years. And then you're going to go to jail and then you're going to hang yourself. That sound good?
Oh my God.
Like pretty dark for a script, you know. This is like Phantom of the Opera stuff.
It's crazy because like you think about that, it's like, oh, that's funny to think about how deep it can go. But then there's like that 2% of you that, I mean, if you're, you know, into conspiracy theories at all, even a little bit, there's always that small part of you that's like, but what if it is like that?
Yeah, exactly.
What
you know
if
what I'm saying?
So much of life is like super scripted. Just, hey, this is going to happen. We don't care how you feel about it. This is what's going down.
Yeah, you know.
That's
like
just insane to think about.
Realistically, it wouldn't be a script. It would be like almost like Audible, you know? Like, oh snap, you know, your sister got cheated on by your boyfriend. What can we add to the story with that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're a great player, you know, and you know, to add to your like your accolades in college and whatnot, and like all the stuff that was going on in college for your team and everything. It's just
throw
like,
in a twist.
Yeah, kill him.
Yeah, yeah.
Just do it.
You know, you got some good things under your belt. We got to balance it out a little bit.
Yeah, you wear the Nikes already. Just do it. You know, it's like it doesn't make sense to me. You know, and then the whole thing with the Bills player Damar Hamlin. Like I said, I don't know if you saw or seen anything about that at all.
I honestly, I feel like I used to watch football a little bit more when I was younger, like with my stepdad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now it's like, all right, Super Bowl. Cool. Oh my, dude, we had people over for the Super Bowl. I swear to God, 98% of planning this whole thing was my girlfriend. Like, all right, Rihanna's performing. That's all. We got to be back by the halftime show. We don't care about who wins. We're watching Rihanna. That was it. That was the entire organization of the evening. Was like, we got to do this and this and this and get back in time for Rihanna.
Listen, it's these halftime shows. They just get bigger and bigger every year. It feels like like I said, I don't know if you've seen any of the memes regarding that, but it looked like she was on the Super Smash Brothers stage.
Oh yeah,
when she was up in there. It's great.
I love the memes of like her baby while she's doing the show. And it's the guys in the van with the table.
Yeah, just going crazy. Like I said, I was half waiting for Mr. Hand to show up and kind of like smack her off the stage, or like final boss fight type stuff. That's what it felt like. But yeah, like I said, the world of sports is wide. Obviously, like I said, in the United States, we have 4 major sports: not college, NFL, NBA, baseball, and hockey, I guess. And then you got your college teams, golf, kind of these side sports with soccer is not huge in the U.S. like compared to the rest of the world. So whatever. But the fact that like we go, oh yeah, the NFL is scripting like all these kind of things, and like again for Damar Hamlin, it'd be like, so what happened to him is he played safety for the Bills. He ended up getting hit, but then he went into cardiac arrest. Unfortunately. Now imagine reading that script, like, oh yeah, by the way, like you're coming from nothing, and you're going to be like a kind of star player for the Bills and kind of like a key piece to their defense, and then the commissioner of the NFL just goes, here's your script, by the way, for the rest of your career. It's like, oh, I'm going to play 3 years, have a heart attack on the field, and potentially never play again. It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm like, what? This is the worst. Like, this is the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah. Like this doesn't really seem like much of a small catch.
No, it's like, oh, playing the NFL, die.
Yeah. That doesn't really seem like the best trade-off.
Yeah, I know. And all the other, there's a couple of the players that I want to talk about, but maybe that's for another time.
That's crazy. Just, like thinking about that in general, just like things being scripted or, written or, made to seem like it's just chance. But it's like, oh no, these 150 different things had to go down to make that happen. It's like
I said, what are the chances, like astronomically, what I'm saying? What are the chances that like this player, keeps his 2 feet in bound for a catch, or, the ref just happens to miss this, whatever. It's like I know the NBA was I think in the 90s, it was like a ref who was like rigging games kind of. So it's obviously not out of the realm of possibility, but again, like I would feel after a while I feel like it would be noticed, especially with football where like you got more guys on the field. You kind of have way more cameras on these guys. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. There's, a little bit more coverage just because it's so much bigger.
Yes. It would make sense that like if there were any rigging or stuff like that, it would kind of be like, hey, we see it now.
Maybe it's like a level deeper. It's not only is it scripted, but there are people who, catch it, but they're like decoy people who are paid off. Hey,
Oh, like Putin and his like that lady that's in like all the photos of him like at these weird places. That makes sense, I think Roger Goodell. You can equate Roger Goodell to Vladimir Putin.
Oh man,
I hope my script doesn't come in the mail soon.
Hey man, this is gonna happen. You're gonna drive to work and you're not gonna make it.
Uh-oh. Well,
better have Chipotle for the last time.
Oh no! Well, the last time I had Chipotle, I was viciously on the toilet for like 3 days. So I've been away from Chipotle for just enough, I think.
I have yet to have that happen from Chipotle, like that bad.
Again, going back to the NFL, that same week, I had Chipotle, ended up getting I think the stomach bug or whatever from it. I turn on like ESPN or something like that. I was just like, yeah, let me just watch a quick like rundown of what happened for the week. I guess one of the players from the Titans missed a couple of days. And then they asked him like, oh, what's going on? He goes, I'm never buying Chipotle again. And I go, I feel you, dude. I feel you. Because I'm like, I felt the same way. Obviously, I'm not like a star athlete or anything like that. But it's like, No, listen. I was just as in much pain, probably as you were too. I feel your sympathy.
Oh yeah.
So,
You know what's the worst? When you sit down to poop and you know you feel like that just like explosiveness coming, but
Yep.
there's some denseness in front of it holding it up. So you
Yeah,
gotta
it's
you gotta strain that to get it out.
called the O-ring.
Yeah. And then once that comes out, then it's just like open the
Yeah.
floodgates and it's like,
When that O-ring is loose, man, the juice is flowing like OJ and his script. No, listen, I get it, man. Somebody who wildly deals with stomach issues. It is I've probably experienced every single type of defecation that every human can possibly have. And I understand the pain. I really do.
now that's a flex.
Is it a flex or is it like help me?
I mean, you can speak with experience. You are
You know
the
what?
expert.
I'm a survivor.
You're a subject matter expert.
Yes.
You say doo doo. I know. I'm aware.
I'll give you my last 3 bowel movements, times, weight, consistency, smell.
Viscosity.
Yeah,
flow
absolutely.
rate.
These things. Yeah. How much extrusion happened per minute, and then all the other good stuff.
Oh man, I had Chipotle on Valentine's Day. Yeah,
That must have been fun.
she DoorDashed me some, and I've been on I've been going to the gym every morning, and I've been like cutting calories a lot, trying to slim down.
Yeah.
And so I put them in like a wrap and put them on the stove.
Oh,
It's legit been like 6+ months since I've had Chipotle, and it was
nice.
it was magical. Just
Dude, I'm always this close. You know what I'm saying? Because I do like Chipotle. They're good. I've been scorned. Like what am I supposed to? I don't want to deal with that again.
Yeah.
It's like a lover. You know what I'm saying? Like I miss you a lot, but like
there were
I
a
know
lot
what you
of,
did to me.
Yeah, there were a lot of good things, but that one bad thing you did, it makes it so the good things can't pile up. Like
Yeah.
I know. I get it. Like
I'm gonna have to play the game again one of these days and roll the dice, and either it'll be amazing, which I'm hoping. I
Yeah.
think as with any meal you order, potentially, it's like I wish this is good, or I'm gonna be in the same situation I was last time, and
it'll be
I'll
like
miss
Russian roulette.
2 days of work. No, it won't be Russian roulette. It'll be like, did they activate the nuke? Did he turn the key and hit the button, or was it like a misclick? You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Because there's no middle ground with Chipotle, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic or it's gut wrenching.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Yeah, like I said, my stomach has just been awful. So
I just remember that time at work we both had Taco Bell and then ended up in the bathroom like 2 hours later.
dude, it was that, and this is why. Listen, this is why I've sworn away like the shredded chicken from Taco Bell. Anything with shredded chicken, I'm not touching.
Right.
Like I said, I'd rather just get like what I know is good or what I know is my normal.
That's right. It was those the shredded
Yes.
quesadillas, the mini.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that was. I think that day alone, I think I was on the toilet 6 times in roughly 6 hours,
Yeah.
which is, funnily enough, not a record of mine. So, hey, I guess life is made to be breaking records for whatever the hell.
I think
So-
I was on it like 3 times.
Dude,
And
it's so
for me,
bad.
that was a record. Like
Yeah.
I regularly like once a day is good, but dude, and it was all in the shift at work. It was all in that like 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, there's nothing left.
Nope.
Like it's like when you're throwing up and then you get to like the
The
stomach acid. Yeah. And you're just
Yes.
like,
Yes. I said
what
you
it's like.
just after a while your body's just like
You're
we gotta
done.
make sure though,
Yeah. yeah. And
like,
that's the worst
listen.
part too. You could be on empty, but then you're like, I don't want to chance it. So I got to go try now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if you play that game, you'll lose.
You're done. You are the weakest link.
Oh, pretty much. man.
Goodbye. Speaking of
Absolutely.
games,
Oh.
I mean, well, typically shows. How you liking Last of Us?
Not seen a single episode, unfortunately.
Okay. This is good because I haven't watched the newest one today. I probably will tonight. We just watched episode 5 last night. and I've played both of them, both of the games.
Yes.
Abby watched me play the second one, like a little bit.
Mhm.
She's never played any of them. And even though I've played them, while we watch it, it's very clear that the show would be incredible without playing the games.
Mm-hmm.
It's well written, the way it's shot, the way they explain the virus is really cool. Like, have you seen anything about how they're...
Yeah, so I believe I saw it was transferred through like flour or wheat or something like that originally, and that ended up like, you know, being mass produced and kind of going all over the world. And I believe it originated in India or Indonesia, I want to say. I don't remember specifically what I saw.
They mentioned it in like the second or third episode where they think it originated. But yeah, and what is it? I think, oh God, I Am Legend. At the beginning of I Am Legend, you know how they have that talk show where she's like, I've cured, what is it, measles? Or like cancer or something?
Yeah.
That's how it started. Like, they talk about it, and it's like, oh, this cordyceps fungus. Like, there's two scientists, and the one scientist is going very like logical, like, this is what's most likely, this is blah blah blah, this is what could happen. And then the host asks him, but is it really going to happen, like, in our lifetime? And he's like, no. And then the other guy chimes in, he's like, well, I mean, you know what could happen, what would be the most dangerous is this fungus, because it takes over the host and keeps them alive.
Yeah.
It like burrows in and basically controls their muscles and their mind.
Yeah.
And it just like, and then it just cuts. And it's just like, oh my God, like, it's so cool. And it's, yeah. I was a little iffy on the casting.
With who specifically?
Honestly, both Pedro and
Bella Ramsey.
Bella, yeah. Because I know she's in Game of Thrones. She did great.
Yes.
And I mean,
she plays young Lady Mormont.
That's it.
Yes.
And then Pedro, I mean, Mandalorian, Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah.
they're both great actors, but it was like, okay,
excellent,
how they got
excellent actors.
They're doing amazingly. He plays such a good Joel. And I mean, she's playing like a great Ellie. She's got that attitude, that like, you know,
the snarky kind of like teenager, and
she's
like, it makes sense.
She's doing a really good job at showing that kind of, despite being in a world full of zombies, she still has that, you know, that immaturity, that kind of childhood delusion of, despite everything going on, I'm still, oh my God, look, a video game or like an old comic, like, oh, this is so cool. And that contrast to Joel, just knowing every like terrible thing out there that's happened, and being happen.
Like,
he's always just
full on like father mode, essentially. You know, 24/7. You know,
it's amazing.
And I haven't not watched it out of like, oh, I don't want to watch it or something. It's just I've been busy. You know, like I'm trying to play catch up on games and stuff like that, and like to me to take an hour out of my day to like catch a show or some of that, I'm like, oh man, you know, it's, you know, but like I said, I've only heard good things, you know, and again, for people who would not have normally like watched something like that, they go, oh yeah, I'm watching it now because like I heard about Last of Us. Maybe they're like interested in some games or something like that, and maybe Last of Us, you know, it was a big Game of the Year winner, same thing with the second one.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, they see this and they see this interest and they go, well, maybe I might watch it, you know. And the people who normally would have never gotten into something like that because it might have been a video game, they go, well, it's just that damn good.
Yeah.
You know. And like I said, I've only ever heard good things about the show. Obviously, you get your trolls online, you know, and that's going to be with any show realistically this day and age, unfortunately. But again, from people who I have legitimate trust in concerning movies, music, games, things like that, shows, I've only heard good things. And for me, that's enough. You know, like I said, I probably will play catch up here soon. I got to finish out some game grinding and then maybe get to that sometime soon. But again, I've only heard good things. So for me, it is a must watch, you know.
Yeah.
It does become must watch TV because I only hear good things, you know.
Right. It's, yeah, there's like a bar. And once you hit that certain point of like, okay, I can't find a single bad review that isn't a troll. This must be, like, okay, I need to watch this type thing.
Every single episode I've seen get reviewed, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Like I said, to me, that's the bar has already been, for the first episode, it's already been set for me, like I said, so I do extremely look forward to watching it. Maybe after this season ends, I can just kind of do a quick binge and kind of go through it all. I do like to do week to week sometimes, but like I said, just with being busy at games and some work stuff, it kind of keeps me away from it, unfortunately. And it really does suck, that I'm not like doing week to week. But hey, maybe who knows? Maybe I'll take some time this week to binge the current episodes and hopefully finish up this season and keep up with everybody week to week. Maybe that'll be something I do.
Yeah, I like I said, I get it. Oh, plus you've played the first game, right? Oh, you haven't, but what happens.
No.
Okay.
I did play the first game.
Okay.
But it was so clunky that I had to put it down.
Got it.
The remake. No, this is when it was on PS3 actually.
Interesting.
This is the initial first release of the game. As we know, they've done two remasters.
No. It was on PS4. Wait.
I thought it was a PS3 release and then a PS4 remaster. And then now a PS5 remake, I'm calling it. Even though technically it's a remaster, I believe.
Oh my God, this hurts my brain. I swear it was a PS4 like initial release. And then they did like a PS4 remake after they released the PS4 Pro. And then they did this like part 1 remaster for PS5.
Maybe it was on PS4.
Interesting. It's been a long time, but I don't remember it being clunky. But I was also young and naive, so I probably wouldn't have even picked up on it if it was.
Yeah, like I said, listen, dude, I've been playing it. One of my earliest memories is me playing video games, like crawling, to my sister's room to watch her play video games. So
fair enough.
I've been playing video games like my whole life, essentially. So like I said, I've played worse games than that for sure, combat wise and like movement wise. But I think at the time, it wasn't something I was looking forward to,
right?
Even initially, and then just kind of that like level of physicality of the game kind of just brought me back down. I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get back to some time. But yeah, I do know the story and everything in that. And I did play the second one. Second one is excellent. Again, it was a game that was bombarded by trolls because people can't handle certain events in the game or certain characters in the game, which is understandable for a certain point. Even I was like that. But then I did I came around to those characters and kind of the events of the game, and I go, listen, this is perfect.
I think that says something to the game too, because I know with the second one, of course, there's a lot of hating on certain characters.
Yes.
I think because no one complains that characters are poorly written. They complain that they hate a certain character, which I think says a lot. They did such good work on creating a character that despite explaining their end of the story, you still hate them. You're not saying they're poorly written. You hate them as the antagonist.
Yes.
That's you're making the audience feel for a completely fake character.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a great job.
It's something that I think is very rarely achievable like that,
Right.
Like I said, when I got to that character's point in the game, I was asking like, well, when is this kind of going to end? Like I want to get back to who I was playing was originally, and then you kind of go through the game and you're getting more of the story beat. You're getting more of like the character, like introductions and story, character backgrounds and kind of shared experience with other characters that you've come across before initially. So, it was quite the interesting game. Like I said, I played it on PS5 before it got the update, and I still enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it so much that I might go back and replay it again with the PS5 update just because I enjoyed it that much initially.
Right. I agree. What was it? I started it on PS4 and then didn't pick it up again until I had my PS5. And then by then I had it hooked up on the living room, so big 60-inch. Man, what like that is a game. If you've got good speakers, like good sound system, you play it in the dark,
dude, that shit.
Incredible.
I have a very I don't know if it's severe, but it's quite impactful for me at some points. I have a very big thing of being chased, and that game does it to you a lot, unfortunately.
Oh my God, all the time.
So you get snuck up on all the time, and when you're encountering these clickers, and you just, like I said, with the sound, and you're hearing the sound, and you're hearing like this nasty, like fleshy, bony, like crunchy movement that is not human. You're just like, you're always on the edge. Like I said, you're constantly looking around. There's like a kind of like a mode where you can like kind of pinpoint like where sounds are coming from, and like maybe character movement, some of that. Like I said, even that is just like, I don't want to move. The worst ones are I think they're the hunters, I think is what they're called. They're like the kind of the quicker ones, but there's like, they usually kind of gang up on you instead of just like maybe one clicker. There's like small, like 4 or 5 smaller ones, I think.
I'm trying to think.
But they just like, there's a part in the game where you fall through like a glass like top, I think, into like a store or something like that, or it's like a first floor of another building or something. And like as soon as you land in there, you just hear like all this weird. I'm just like, I instantly start looking around. I crouch. I do like the sneaky thing, and I see like across, in the corner, like the white like ping, like, oh, there's noise coming from over there. It's like, I don't want to go over there.
Yep.
I was like, what? Come on.
I agree. When you first walk into a building and you think it's clear, and you hit that like sensory button, and then like 8 pings go off, and you're just like, are you?
No, thank you.
Yeah, and there's no like, oh, we can go around. It's like, no, we got to go through this. It's like,
yes, we got to go through. The worst was the no spoilers, but I believe it was the hotel.
Is that the part where you're trapped and you have to last until the girl can get you out?
No, that's where you're in the hotel and you have to go down all the floors to get down.
Oh, yeah. And the floor and the stairs are out, and you got to like jump down.
Yep.
That was
creepy. That was hell incarnate for me. Luckily, again, I haven't played video games a long time. I use the Resident Evil system. I shoot it, even if I know it's dead, because there's a couple of them that like stick in the wall, kind of like try to camo in the wall, whatever the case is. I'm just like, gun at the ready, like, mother, take that.
You're not dead. Let's try to get double tap.
Yeah, you're not sneaking up on me, man.
Yep.
And then you get punched through a wall by like the big one, and you're like, nothing I could do.
Yeah. Man, what? Those are 2 incredible games.
Yeah, like, I agree. And I do plan on revisiting the first one. I believe the remaster is scheduled for a PC release, so I will definitely pick it up then. And maybe even play it on stream. Who knows?
I think it comes out in April, maybe. That sounds right.
I thought it got delayed, I feel.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Maybe I misread, or maybe it is. Oh, or was that? No. I know for sure Dying Light 2 got pushed back a week, actually, to land on my birthday. So that's even better. Or not Dying Light 2. Sorry, Dead Island 2. So,
I remember playing the first one with like some friends. That was fun. That was so much fun.
It's one of the funnest like hack and slash beat 'em ups, zombie games there is. Like I said, it does get repetitive at certain points, but like I said, just being able to craft weapons and explore, and like I said, it's a long game. You definitely get your money's worth out of that game, but like I said, I wouldn't say I'm like 100% excited for Dead Island 2, but I might play it and pick it up.
It's definitely one I'm going to wait on. I remember playing it with buddies back home, but now thinking back to that and thinking about the type of game it is, I'm not sure I would enjoy it as much now if I'm not playing with other people.
Yes.
So there are certain games, like Call of Duty, I will not turn it on and play it unless other people are like, hey, let's hop in a game and do something. Okay, fun. Now I'm talking to people, enjoying myself. Or like Abby, she started playing, so we'll play in a match together, whatever. I will not pick it up alone. So there are certain games where it's like, all right, I need somebody to play with in order to enjoy myself in this.
No, that's fair. Yeah. Like I said, it is a game that I think you get the most out of playing with other players. Like I said, as with a lot of these co-op games, you can just kind of go and do your own thing. It's
Yeah.
not a problem. But like I said, I think like there's like a comedic aspect to that game that you kind of like get playing with another person. You do like
Yeah.
drop kicks and you're kicking zombies off the side of buildings and you're kicking your teammate and you're shocking and exploding your teammate. It's part of the fun of the game.
Yeah, I remember like modding weapons with like the electricity or like
Yeah.
flame. That was a lot of the fun. So that was cool. So I assume you're going to take time off for your birthday then.
Most likely. With the way things are looking, yeah, I might. I mean, who knows? Maybe the whole week it will be in there potentially. So we'll see.
Week long stream. Hey, even when you sleep stream.
Hey man, I sleep in the nude.
That's how you max out that viewership.
I don't think Twitch will want to see my Twitch.
No,
so.
you're gonna pull the entirety of Twitch. Every viewer is just gonna be like, and Twitch is gonna have to just let it go because like, well, he's bringing in so much money, so much
damn.
viewership. Hey,
Listen,
man,
maybe a week long stream. Maybe play something or April. What
release
games coming out in April?
Star Wars Survivor, Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, Jedi Forever. Also, Resident Evil 4 remake is coming out at the end of March.
Yeah,
So
that looks
who
incredible.
knows? It looks more than incredible. Honestly, it looks like it could be the best remake of a game probably of all time.
100%.
Like I said, Resident Evil 4 original is a masterpiece.
Best
Like a true masterpiece, like gaming wise. Like it is beyond comprehension how good that game is. So to have something like this, and we know that Capcom has a great port for Resident Evil 2, great remaster of Resident Evil 2, excellent. It said plays super well. Resident Evil 3, like I said, it's they remove like a good chunk of that game, unfortunately, and like some of the clock tower stuff.
So
And
short.
yes, and that's it suffers the most from that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know why they took out like the bigger section. It kind of just sucks. But Resident Evil 4, like I said, it's a lengthy game. Like I said, a lot of upgrades, a lot of like secrets and things like that they can kind of always go back to. And the boss fights are amazing. So like I said, it's shaping up to be great. And also Jedi Survivor is also shaping up to be, I believe, an extremely well done game.
I just watched that like gameplay release and saw that you can finally dismember people.
Yes.
And it's just like,
I did happen to catch that on your TikTok account.
hey man, what are you talking about?
A little self promotion there.
At the gaming cafe.
Yes.
Man, like, and it's one of those little things. I equate it to, like in Ghost of Tsushima, when you're riding through like a field and he puts his hand down.
Oh, hands down and
It's
like
such
moves
a
a little bit. Yeah.
small thing, but you're using a lightsaber.
Yes,
Limbs
exactly.
should fly off.
Something that is at its given core temperature hotter than like the sun.
Yeah.
Not only from like a gameplay perspective, but from an immersion perspective.
Right.
Like I said, if I wanted like non-cauterization, non-dismemberment, I would play something else.
Right.
I want a lightsaber to be a lightsaber and do lightsaber things.
Like
Like,
there
it's
are
something that
ways
was-
to get around it, which they did with like, the Dark Troopers and their staffs that can block them.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But when it comes to, fighting anything else, when you're hacking at something for an hour and nothing's
Yes.
coming off, it's like,
No.
okay, am I playing Star Wars? Am I a Jedi? I don't feel like a Jedi. Like,
Yeah.
I
And like I said,
want the
I know
power. Come on. Do it.
the man is full of CBC known as non-dismemberment Jedi.
Do it. Release your anger. Kill him. Do it. Kill him. Oh, man. You know who I wanted to kill? Target execs. Bro.
Oh, man.
Whoever decided the
That's a
price.
bold claim. I
Listen.
don't think that's in your script.
Listen. So we've got a Target like 3 minutes from us. It's super convenient. They've got like that drive up. You can just park, open the app, and they'll bring your groceries out. When you're feeling lazy, whatever. I'll usually run there if we need like 2 or 3 things. So we're out of eggs, and either I use eggs for breakfast or she uses eggs. Either way, we're using a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go grab some. And this is just at the start. It's gotten better now, but just at the start of this whole like, egg shortage or whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk in and I'm expecting like, okay, this is Target. It's a little more bougie than like Walmart or Winco.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pay like $5 or $6 for this 12-pack.
Mm-hmm.
$10 for 12 eggs. I seriously sat and looked at this thing, and I'm like, okay, this either has to be the wrong slot or it's a wrong tag. And I sat there for like 3 minutes looking at it and like glancing over at the other ones. And I'm just sitting there going back and forth. I'm like, this can't be right. I eventually broke down and got them because we needed eggs. And I was already there, but it was so bad. I'm like, at this
That's
point,
almost $1 an egg.
Yeah. Yeah.
How?
It was and I'm like, at this point, is it even cheaper cooking? Because it's getting to the point where it's not. It was terrible. I walked out of Target. I think I got like 3 things, and it broke like $25. And one of those things was like an energy drink. So I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, this feels wrong, because these, like, I could have went and bought a TV for $400 or $500.
Mm-hmm.
That would have hurt less because I know it's a TV.
And it's the justification of, the technology.
Exactly. That's going to last me years. These eggs are going to last a week.
If that.
Yeah. And I'm just, oh my God. It hurt my soul.
Listen,
like every
it is, one, it's disgusting. Like I said, the fact that, like you said, is cooking less expensive? Really, when it comes down to it, it should be,
right.
Because if you're portioning your meals out and you're doing exactly what you need to be doing, like I said, you buy one thing of celery, like I said, you make 2 meals. Oh, this meal calls for half the celery, this meal calls for the other half of the celery. You know what I'm saying? That's just smart cooking. Don't buy stuff based on like recipes. Don't go to the store and be like, oh, I want to make this today, and only buy that stuff. Buy stuff for the week.
Right.
But when eggs are, I don't want to say a staple, but how many countries eat eggs for breakfast? Like it's a pretty damn common ingredient, especially for breakfast food.
And not even just breakfast. I mean, like all baking. I feel like most baking involves eggs.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's ridiculous to me. And I don't know if you saw that, but like, quote unquote, there was a fire that broke out at an egg hatchery, like somewhere in the Midwest, because of course. And I'm like, man, they're really not going. They're not being subtle with this, huh? They're just being extremely obvious with like, hey, we're gonna set fire to this egg hatchery, man. Because here's the thing, it's not. And listen, I'm gonna get real for you folks. Like I said, my script might be in the mail tomorrow if I say this, and it probably will happen.
Hey, we getting real. We getting deep.
Real deep.
Oh,
deep.
Oh, it's got that new mic smell.
Like I said, it's not inflation. Like I said, eggs don't cost more because of a shortage or not like that. It is price gouging.
Yep.
Like I said, they're marking up the cost of these things because they can. Because guess what? The CEO, investors, shareholders have to have profit.
Yep.
Like I said,
they have to,
and that is why
some sort of profit.
Exactly. Whether it be 20 cents for whatever, a quarter or something like that, or whatever. But they're gonna squeeze out as much as you can. That's why gas was way super expensive last year.
Oh my
because,
God.
Gas. Like we had more barrels coming out of the Middle East last year than we did in 2007 during an economic crisis, an actual recession. And you tell me gas is $6 a gallon, especially here in California, it was absurd.
Yeah.
Like I said, and it's slowly getting back up there.
Yeah. It's ungodly. I did see a video. It was some farmer, and he was standing in front of a bunch of eggs. He's like, "There's no shortage. They're not willing to pay us the higher amount because of inflation. So we've got plenty of eggs. They're just not willing to pay it."
No. And I know there were a couple hatcheries that did have like a couple diseases going through them and stuff like that. But again, I don't want to say that's the cost of doing something like that. But you understand, there's thousands of these chickens, excrement and, things just go through these things all the time. Sometimes you just get bad batches of eggs,
Right.
It's
It's part of the trade.
the cost. Yeah, it's the cost of doing an innumerable amount of livestock and farming. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. They use that as like an excuse to be like, oh yeah, that's why there's an egg shortage. It's like, no, there's no egg shortage. You know what I'm saying? Realistically, eggs are like one of the cheapest things to produce. It's feed is cheap. Like I said, you get eggs, you get a bunch of grown female chickens, they give you eggs.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a
not
bag of feed is like $15.
It's not a lot of overhead for like
No.
upkeep. So
And like I said, there's a part of that too where it's like, yeah, they're not willing to pay, they're not willing to play ball. And again, it's just it's unfortunate and it sucks because like I said, they have to have the money in their pocket. It's again, welcome to America.
yeah.
Where corporations kind of run more than you think.
Dude, speaking of gas, I remember when, oh God, what was it? I want to say it got up to like $6.50 a gallon.
Yes,
Like
it was
six-
ridiculous.
It was like $6.49. And I saw that driving to my last job, which was in person. Luckily, I'm working remote now.
It's good.
But like a week later, after seeing that, I'm like, oh, I can't afford this. Sold my car, bought a little like electric bike,
Yeah.
rode that to that job. It was like 11 miles. I'm like, I don't care. I'll leave an hour early. There's no way I'm paying this garbage. Rode that to work and then, again, landed this job. So sold the bike. But my girlfriend just got a new job. And they
Oh, nice.
they pay like a little incentive. They're like, hey, here's, it's like some amount of money every day. Like we know, with all these remote jobs available, you got to have some sort of incentive. So here's extra that will pay you once a month. We'll give you this amount every day for gas. And it's a pretty decent amount.
I imagine.
And I feel like more companies need to do that because there's so many jobs available and so many remote ones and so many companies that are realizing, hey, we can outsource and we can do a lot of these jobs remotely, especially like customer service and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Asking all these people to come back into office, there's got to be a reason for that. And if you're not Google with a gym and nap pods and all this awesome stuff to bring people in,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to offer something. Hey, here's, I don't know, anything.
Like I said, you're not wrong. Like I said, it would be nice to like incentivize a little bit more. Like I worked through the pandemic at an in-person job. The whole time, like I said, there was no extra like whatever. I'm showing up to work. During lockdown, I was getting notes from my human resources department being like, hey, if you get pulled over by an officer of the law or whatever, a state agency, show them this note to say you're an essential worker. I'm like, I'm protecting a business, man. They can shut down, But no, again, as these things go and corporations are, like I said, they want to stay open because they need the money, the revenue. It makes sense. I said my pay didn't change. I was no compensated for gas. I was buying my own PPP equipment. Things like that. Like I said, there is a certain cost of overhead to doing these things. And, when I look back at it and I like, man, how much money could I have made or doing something else or even saved by not going to work, gas and whatnot. And maybe doing a hybrid, hey, 3 days in this week, 2 days, home, working at home, taking work home with me. Next week, 2 days there, 3 days at home, something like that.
Right.
But again, appearances are appearances and you got to keep up appearances. So
Yeah.
you gotta look like you're there. You gotta look like you're doing something to justify. And again, I get it. I've been in the supervisor's game a couple of years now, and I understand kind of where the line is drawn with that kind of thing.
Right.
So I definitely understand.
For the industry, it makes sense.
Yes, but it sucked.
I bet. Yeah. I mean, I remember when they put it all in place.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It was
start doing this. Oh, we've got these extra positions and no one to fill them.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
all right then.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, I think some of the regular personnel were, You guys are getting what, time and a half if you're covering those, you know, kind of extra. So it was like a kind of a good deal for you guys.
Oh
you know?
yeah, definitely.
Like I said, the only thing that I know for sure is that my workload did not decrease. So
Yeah, I mean, you had double the people to manage,
double the people, double the work.
Given the industry plus the time you work, you had just as many like, call in sick or last minute call offs, and then you got to cover that, and it's just, man.
So it was a nightmare, man. It was a nightmare for too long. I listen. I am crossing my fingers. You know, I still wear a mask. I'm that dude. I still get the weird looks and shit outside and whatever. But I'm like, dude, I don't give a.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, after a certain point, man, like, you know, okay, I'm not going to get into that, but essentially, like, I do what I want to protect myself, to protect my family. You know, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, whether you, not you specifically, but I guess the general you, the consensus you, like, if you don't want to wear a mask, listen, you're well within your rights. You know what I'm saying? But do not complain about getting sick. Do not complain about whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but this is what's going to happen. Summer's going to kick in. There's going to be another increase in COVID cases, and then, you know, we're playing oddball again, because it's like, are we going to have? Is it going to be a new strand? Is it going to be a new whatever? You know, is it going to be something that's like, could we have avoided this by just putting on our masks? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Like I said, I'm sure someone will find this, some right wing, whatever, will find this and take this clip out of context. If you do, you. But anyways.
No, dude, have you seen, I just saw a clip of it. So you know how Musk released all the like Twitter files? I don't know if it was a court or if it was like a federal hearing or something, but there was, I don't know if she was a judge or something, but
no, it was Marjorie Green
asking like
why
about the suppression of like
her
doctors.
her tweets.
Yeah. And like, did Twitter get, you know, orders from the government to suppress like medically licensed doctors' opinions? That is, I mean, that's one of the scarier things is like when you see people that get, let's say, you know, like, I don't want to say canceled as in like cancel culture.
Yes.
But like banned from a multitude of platforms at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like knowing they have that ability to just be like, your content is not jiving with what we want, so you're shut down. Like, that is crazy.
Like I said, it's a very real thing, you know. It's one of those things that you feel like it shouldn't happen, you know, because I think as we've kind of come up with social media, it's been like, hey, this is my profile, and God, I remember being back on MySpace. You got like your friends, you had like your songs and everything like that, and you had like kind of stuff about you. You know, it was a little bit more, I think, not personal, but a little more kind of like, hey, I'm kind of getting a feel for what this person is. Nowadays, it's an echo chamber. You follow people who are like you or have similar thoughts to you, that when you say, hey, I don't like this, or I don't like that, they go, yeah, okay, I agree with you. You know, and then it's just back and forth, whatever the case is. Like I said, as soon as somebody steps out of that, or whatever the case is, or is so far like outside of that, they go, man, this is kind of causing issues. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are some people who, I don't like using the word rightfully deserve it, because again, I feel like everyone should have a voice. But again, if you're saying things that cause others to perform acts, whether of violence or hatred or whatever the case is, I feel like you should be censored. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like how, you know, freedom of speech, but you can't say fire in a theater.
Yes. No,
because it provokes, people are going to start rushing out. They're going to trample someone. Somebody's going to die because, you know, everyone thought they were in danger. Like, there's always an asterisk. Like freedom of speech. But if what you say immediately enacts like danger, that's a problem.
Like I said, and people got to understand, these social media platforms, they are publicly like traded, you know, like Twitter and Facebook, you know, you can go and buy stock or whatever the case is. But realistically, like, it's a private platform,
right?
You know, So at any given point, you could just say the wrong thing and get your account banned or get, again, I don't like using the word canceled because it implies like I said something that needs to be said, but in the wrong way. It's like, no, you're just being a shithead and saying like the worst shit possible,
Right.
Like I said, they'll just get rid of you, and like I said, it's well within their rights to, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like I said, especially for accounts that have had, maybe a couple million followers or maybe were kind of maybe your main source of revenue potentially, but again, these are the risks you take. It's no different than opening up a business, that next door to three other businesses that do the same thing and expecting like, yeah, this could succeed, when in reality, like you're playing a very weird game with like your potential for not getting anything out of it,
Yeah. Playing with fire when trying to seek success.
Yeah. It's like, why not play it safe? But again, a lot of these people rely on the clicks and the attention and the stuff like that, which again brings people to the platform. But
Yeah.
like I said, when you're pushing the wrong thing, it becomes a problem.
Yeah. I enjoy social media. I've pretty much stopped using Instagram mostly because I don't know. I just don't really find myself on there.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy TikTok because it's entertaining. I mean, there's
That's
so
an
much.
answer.
Oh, whether it be tech videos or comedy, I find a lot of comedians on there I love. Gold. It's so entertaining, but I feel like in terms of following or especially Twitter, I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter because I don't really enjoy it. Like, I don't like it. I don't like, I don't know. I'm still trying to get like into it. I kind of realize it's like a thought board for people. They just kind of put what they're thinking, which totally cool. But I feel like that's eliminating a lot of people's ability to think freely. Because instead of sitting back, in a chair and saying, what do I, unbiased from what people say, think about a topic, they hop on and say, oh, they said this and I like them, so I'm going to agree with them. And that's not always a problem, but it can be.
Yes.
Because at some point you have to say, like, I'm me. I don't agree with that. But am I going to let not agreeing with them make me afraid of the repercussions of everyone else?
Like I said, it's a very real thought, because like you said, if you say the wrong thing, you could get doxxed, you could be targeted, you could be harassed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, that is unfortunately the reality we live in with social media and just the internet at all. Like I said, I was in kind of off topic, but related to Discord. I was in the actual not official. It's not run by Nintendo, but I was in the subreddit Discord for Pokemon because I was playing a lot of Pokemon. It's a good place to like trade and find groups for like certain Pokemon evolutions, whatever the case is. Like, it's perfect for that. I got a notification that like a ping being like, oh, hey, by the way, come join this Discord channel because the actual owner of the Discord, yeah, he's a pedophile. And I'm like, is this just, it's everywhere now, like it's infectious with like whatever. It's like I feel like I can't get away from like anything negative. It's like that's all I feel like I see, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't know what the hell, legally is happening to this dude. I'm sure it's not going to be good, but I'm like, I was in there for like a week, man.
Right.
Why is all the good things I like being perpetrated by motherfuckers,
Yeah, that's why it's really that might be another reason I don't hop on Instagram. Not that like my feed, I guess, or what I looked into was negative, but I don't hop on any social media to watch something sad or to watch something like I either want to be entertained or distracted because I'm stressed or something like that. I want to laugh. I want to say, oh, that's awesome. Like every other one of my TikToks is like a setup tour of somebody's office, their computer and whatnot. And that's just so relaxing to watch. That's what I want to see.
Yes. You have to have that again, I think with all things, you have to have that positive reinforcement.
Right.
You know, because like I said, it is easy to be subjected to the negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? And this is something I talk about a lot, actually. I think as humans, we naturally gravitate towards negative thoughts and negative whatever because they're easier to digest. You know,
100%. They're easily, and that's why like it's easier to relate and listen to sad music
yes,
because it feels almost a little more natural. Like I can relate to this. I was in pain. I felt this, or I'm feeling this. Yes. And there's like a very stark contrast to super happy, hyped up music. It's very different how it feels.
yeah, and like I said, you know, it's easy to pinpoint those negative thoughts and things like that because you can for sure say, hey, this is what's making me sad today, or this is what's activating my depression for the week, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It could be something as simple as like, I see it all the time on TikTok and stuff like that. It's like, oh, the store that I normally go to doesn't have the tortillas I like, and it kind of threw me in a funk. But like, that's what depression is. It's just like the dumbest, smallest shit that's just like, yeah, we'll take away your happiness for a little bit. The tortillas that you love, guess what, mother, they're gone. Now you're sad, you know. But like, I think with happiness, it's harder to kind of contribute happiness to your whole, if that makes sense.
I
Like
think
what part of my person is happy, and how much of it is this, how much of it is that. It's easy to, with negative thoughts, to do that. And like I said, we tend to focus on those things, unfortunately, like I said. But you have to put yourself in the position to have positive reinforcement and to have, sustainable, good thoughts coming from the stuff you're looking at.
right. Yeah, I agree. And it's almost like ingrained, like maybe growing up, like homework or tests or look for, solve problem. Oh, if you get something wrong, that's terrible. Oh,
Yeah.
you failed. That's terrible. And it's almost trained in you like mistakes or bad things. Oh, they're awful instead of it's a learning experience. It's like when you talk about failed relationships. Like some people are like, oh my God, it was terrible. And this is like, let's say 5 years after. Oh, it was the worst thing. And then you can flip that exact same thing and say, you know what? It taught me a lot. It either taught me what I wanted. It taught me what I didn't want, what I won't accept. It showed me like my worth, what I need, what I want. I mentioned this earlier. I was talking earlier today. I really, every single day is a good day. Not because something stellar happened. And I don't even remember when I watched this video, but it was a video I watched in class, and it was Haiti. And there was a group of people, and their houses were flat, straight rubble. But they were smiling. They were trying to search for people, and they were like happy helping each other. And I'm sitting there watching this, just thinking like, okay, there's no way I can wake up with all my limbs, with running water, food in the fridge, 2 dogs, a great relationship. I work from home. I make money sitting in a chair. There's no way I can wake up every day getting that and then say, oh, my life sucks. My life's hard. Everyone has their struggle, and I respect that.
Yeah.
Someone has something that they're going through that's hard in the moment. And I think just having something to bring you a little bit of perspective every day or every week or every month, having that little something to just be like, hey, you know what? It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. You know what? Despite what's going on right here, you're okay because you know what? You have all this good going on.
Yeah.
And it's all right.
Like I said, I think we do tend to focus on what we're missing and not what we have, and I'm not talking about like physical things,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Obviously, like if you have good health, that's great. Like I said, you did wake up with all your limbs. That's perfect.
Right.
You have the sustainability, you have the longevity of like, hey, I do have a job. I can do what I need. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing I think people need to realize is if life really got that bad, there is nothing stopping you from just getting up and leaving and going and starting somewhere new. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I said, that's the beautiful thing about being a human is you can struggle and you can have moments of happiness and success and bring fruition to you, you know, but also at the same time, you can kind of go, man, it's not really not working out for me. Let me try something else.
Right.
Like I said, that's why we get two legs. We don't have roots. Like I said, we got legs because sometimes we need to move,
You can move somewhere, start anew,
yeah.
quit and find a new job. And,
Mhm.
there's always, it's hard to find a job. That's right. But
Yeah.
when you're unhappy and things aren't going well, I feel like that's a good reason to say, you know what, it's a risk to try something new. But if I'm not happy right now, if I am miserable, what harm could trying something new do?
Absolutely.
Like,
I said it's it's the true indomitable human spirit, as the TikTok would say, the ability to just, even at your lowest point, get back up, dust yourself off, do it again.
right.
And I know for some people that's hard, and I understand that, but like I said, just one day at a time if you can. I said you'll find that maybe it's not as bad, or maybe it's not as hard,
Right.
due to those circumstances.
I think it just, let me take one more step. Let me go one more
Mhm.
day, and then you get
Go one more
through it.
day.
And then it's like, all
Yeah.
right, one more day. And then
Yeah.
you just keep doing that forever. You just do one more day,
Yeah.
and, try to
Said I.
be, 1% better.
Yeah.
Or-
And I think that's the most important thing, is for people not to realize that they're not trapped. You can get out, you can escape.
Right.
I use the word escape like, you know, you're being held against your will, but maybe you feel like it,
Right.
But in reality, like I said, you can just do what you want, Like I said, I know it doesn't seem like that, especially maybe in certain points in your life, but you can just kind of do what you want. Now, I don't mean like hurt people and shit like
Right.
that, what I'm saying? But I mean like you can like quit that garbage job,
Yeah.
that's putting negative emotions in you. And, I know some people who've had and have been diagnosed with PTSD from jobs before, like I said, it's a very real thing, like a bad work environment or a bad, relationship and things like that. And again, it's never that easy. And I 100% get that,
Yeah, dude. I mean, you spend 8+ hours there.
Yeah.
If it's a bad, I mean, I know, like, I've worked jobs I hated, and when you finally get a job that you either like, you love, where you don't wake up and say, "Oh my God, I can't," like, I don't want to go to work. When you don't suffer from that, it gives you a whole new light, because not only are you looking forward to, like, hey, I can't wait to get off and do the stuff I want to do. Now
Mhm.
I don't feel terrible about going to work. I'm
Yeah.
going to spend 8 hours doing something I don't hate, and that is huge.
Is it? I think there is a beauty in that. It there is a certain comfortability in like having a job and whatever the case is, but there's also a certain uncertainty. If a job makes you feel bad, could this be like your could this be your redemption?
Right.
Could you get out of this? Could you go and succeed even more than you normally would have?
Right.
Just by taking a chance, just by whatever.
Also, could this garbage job be poisoning the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Because
That too.
I know it's not easy for everyone to leave their job and then put it in a box and say, okay, I'm home now, I'm going to enjoy this. Like, some people had a terrible work day, and now, oh God, now my home is going to be terrible. I don't even look forward to anything because I have to go back to that job. It's such a big deal when you can get into something that you enjoy, or at least look forward to a little bit. It's like, now the rest of life is looking brighter. So that's,
I said you don't take the garbage home with you.
right.
I said and again, good work-life balance is always important too. So, but enough of this, sad conversation.
Yeah, no more sad boy hours.
Yeah, no more gloominess. I'm going to talk some real happy stuff right now.
Hey, we
You know
love the
what?
happy stuff.
Well, okay, two things. You know what this the current year we're in,
2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite things within the next couple of years here. One, this year, the 69th anniversary of Godzilla. So,
Giggity.
extremely looking forward to that. Yeah,
And
extremely. Yes, extremely. Listen, I know we meme the crap out of 69 as we should. Like I said, I cannot wait for the memes. It's going to be great. Like I said, if there's one thing you'll know about me, I love Godzilla.
And memes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like you said, if you have anything Godzilla related, whatever the case is, or you want to talk, listen, I'm here. I need friends.
come on.
And then
Send the memes.
next year is the 10th anniversary of Interstellar.
Oh my, is it really?
Yeah, we've hit 10 years, or obviously 9 years now, but 10 years next year.
Wow.
And I'm hoping that is the one movie that I regret not seeing in either. I never even saw it in theaters, let alone IMAX.
Yeah, neither did I. I wish I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am extremely looking forward to being able to hopefully have a re-release in theaters for that movie, because I would love to go and see that in theaters. It recently has come across like multiple pages of mine, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube has been recommending me some videos as well, and I'm just like, every time I get into it, I watch it, and I go, I need to watch this movie, again for like the eighth time.
It is a beautiful movie, not just visually.
No,
I mean, McConaughey, come on.
excellent.
The soundtrack, Hans Zimmer, I mean, just kills. When doesn't he, honestly?
Yeah,
But everything about that movie, there's nothing, and I mean, I'm sure there's some stuff that you could critique. Watching it, there's never a moment where I'm like, that was or oh, I didn't like that. Like, it is beautiful. It is incredible. I remember in high school, my senior year of high school, we had a guy who played piano, but he didn't read music. He just listened to it. He'd hear it and then play it. And he played Cornfield Chase.
it's great.
He just got up on stage and rattled it off. And it was just like, and again, not reading it, just hearing it and playing.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
That is extremely impressive. I learned how to play piano by reading like sheet music, but I do kind of have like a similar like knack for it by ear. It has been a very long time. I don't have a piano available to me, but again, I would love to like listen and maybe learn something like that maybe one day.
Hey, man, listen, when we move, we're going to build out this podcast studio. We're going to have a neon sign behind us. It's gonna be a brain or something like that.
It's like a jazz club.
Yeah, and then next door we'll have a piano, and we'll groove out. We'll do groovy streams.
A little Benny Maupin, a little Chet Baker in there. Listen, I'm down for it.
Oh man,
I love music. So
I'll find myself like searching just piano versions of music. But I love the sound of piano. That's why I bought a keyboard in high school. And I'm like, I can't read music, but I'm going to watch YouTube videos and just like memorize how to play it, because it just sounds like the sound is gorgeous. It just
absolutely,
it feels right. It sounds right. Everything about it. It just, oh yeah, I love it.
In the wonderful world, of music and music composition, like I said, I think Hans Zimmer said it best. There's certain instruments that you play, and like I said, especially the organ, it's like it's very human-like because it needs to breathe to create sound. Like I said, I think there's something very interesting about that, and kind of like almost endearing to how we look at like music and songs, and how music is passed down through our, not necessarily families, but like through our generations and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, just as much as something like that needs somebody to play it, like I said, you need to have somebody to understand it, and you need to have somebody to make the music.
It's insane the impact music has on like society, people in general. Night Moves, Bob Seger,
Great song.
I remember driving my brother and siblings home. It was like 3 a.m. Picked them up from the bar. Night Moves came on, and I swear it's just one of those songs where it's like, oh, this is a good vibe song. Like he leaned over,
it's a
he's
cruising
like,
song.
Yeah, he's like, I love you so much, and we started singing it together, and it was just one of those songs where, almost like Journey, Don't Stop Believing, like, or Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, like everyone just comes together and starts singing, and it's one of those few collective, like, hey, regardless of who you are, we all love it. It brings us all together. It's so nice.
Yeah. And like I said, I think that's the beautiful thing about music is that it's very much like we know the impact it has, and we know that it can be a tool for like very good things, Like I said, and there's something special about sharing a song with somebody you love, or recalling a memory from a song, you heard. I heard the song 12 years ago, or whatever the case is. Some songs I can remember, like vivid memories, like the most vivid memory I have listening to like that one song.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've mentioned that before. Like, oh, I haven't heard the song in 2 years, and I remember exactly what I was doing when I heard it. It's almost like smells or tastes.
Yeah,
when you taste something, like, oh crap, the last time I ate this, I was doing this. It's insane how much of an impact it has, and my God, did it work well with that movie?
Yes,
just
because it's it very much relies on like it plays into time, and timing is a part of music, and it leads into itself so well. It's a very like it's a reciprocal loop of like music related stuff, time related stuff, and they work well with each other, and like they're feeding off each other, and it's amazing. And like I said, you hear these songs, like I said, and you're creating a spectacle in your mind with what you associate the scene with this, or whatever the case is, because like I said, that as with a lot of movies with great soundtracks, it doesn't take much to go, hey, I remember this specific scene when I listened to this song, and you recall it and go, it's like I'm watching the movie in my head. You know what I'm saying? It really pulls you through time in your own head, if that makes sense.
Yep. It's I don't know the name of it exactly, but it's the scene where he's lining up the station with the ship and they're twirling. Hearing that specific one, that
that song is No Time for Caution.
There we go.
Yeah.
That, like, you could play like a second and a half of it, maybe 2 seconds, and it'd be like, oh, that one. Like,
you're instantly there again. You're instantly there.
And the tension is there, and it's like, I mean, the way it's shot, it's beautiful. Oh man, that movie is incredible.
Like I said, I give it up to Christopher Nolan for just making some of the finest films I think we've had in past 30 years. You know what I'm saying?
Tenet as well, right? He did.
Yeah, Tenet, Inception. He did the Christian Bale Batman movies. Memento, I believe, was Christopher Nolan.
I didn't watch that. I haven't watched that yet.
That's an older movie, I believe. It's like 2002 or 2003, I believe. But it's a like a memory kind of related movie. Like I said, if you like kind of like playing in your own brain, and I highly recommend Memento.
Very cool. Okay.
So
interesting. Yeah. So I got posed a question today, and I know this is going to be a very different answer. So let us know, how often should you buy new underwear? Or I guess, what is it, like an annual thing? Is it a monthly thing? Is it when a hole hits a certain spot thing? Or when a stain becomes too noticeable thing?
Listen, man, here's my rule on buying new underwear. All right. And it applies to the meme. It's that Spider-Man meme in the first Spider-Man movie where like he got this part of his mask cut off, and like you kind of see like, oh, here's his nose, and like here's like this half of his face, whatever the case is. That's my underwear when I'm buying like a new graphics card, like on my Steam Deck. Like I said, the entertainment takes precedent. Like I said, if I can get here's a rule of thumb I go by. If I can get 2 legs through the holes, any holes, they're good. So
That's not where I thought that was going. I thought it was going like, oh, Spider-Man, he's got this part chopped off, but you can't tell it's him, but you can't tell it's Peter Parker. And so I thought that's where you were going, like, oh, you can tell, it's the side of a nut, but you can't tell it's a testicle.
I see what you're saying. No. Like I said, that's what my underwear looks like when like I charge $600 for that Steam Deck or whatever. I'm like, listen, I am.
It's looking at you like, am I a joke to you?
Yeah, pretty much. It's or when I win a pre-order game or I do something with my money that like I probably should have did with something else. It's like the underwear's like I knew he would. He always does.
I appreciate the fact that underwear, at least for guy like boxers or even boxer briefs, they're super stretchy usually. So unless you go from like 100 pounds to like 800, you can usually wear the same size depending on when you buy it. Dude, I want to say it's like 3 or 4 years since I've bought new underwear, but I can see. Okay, here's the funny part. So there's a part in the underwear, it's like farther back, and it looks like it's always wet, and I'm trying to figure it out. And one day I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sweaty. These are perfectly dry. What is this spot? I've been ingesting a lot of protein, and the farts that come from that are hot and almost feel like they burn. Dude, I swear to God, I'm burning through the underwear. I'm like burning a hole, and it's slowly burrowing through, and I'm like, I'm going to need to buy new ones soon.
Oh, listen, man, you might have worms, bro.
Nunny.
If you're putting holes through underwears, man, I think you need to check your britches.
No,
know what I'm saying?
They're not holes yet. And this has been something that's formed over like the 4 years.
Okay. They're just cusping.
Yeah, it's almost like the layer is just thinning. Like you can start to see through, and you're like, okay, these are on the cusp of breaking.
Listen, I would say about 2 years for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a larger gentleman, so every now and then, like I do like just do like a clean like, screw it, I'll buy like 2 packs of 5 a piece or whatever, and that'll last me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I guess to each their own. But yeah, like you said, let us know. How often either you replace your underwear or what is your
Frequency.
Not frequency, but like what is your like what does it take for you to get your underwear replaced?
Like what's your replacement indicator?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Is it the whole, like Morgan with the burning, or is it just like me? Can you just get 2 legs through any of the holes if there's a ton? Like I said, just as long as it, covers most of it, I'm fine.
Interesting.
I said, eventually I'll just end up in a banana hammock and just be like, that works for me.
Or on the rare chance that you've never replaced your underwear, let us know.
Oh, no, don't let me know.
It could be like antique underwear.
Yeah, these were passed down from my great grandmother. I mean, father. You want to know how I got these scars?
I was putting on your grandmother's underwear.
Grandmother's underwear. God, it makes me randy. Oh no!
Why so serious?
Christopher Nolan, you done it again.
Oh my God, so many memes. I love it. Oh, well, this has been fun, folks. I hope everyone has enjoyed.
Like I said, for a first one, I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. If there's any topics we should talk about, because I mean, we'll be perusing for topics to talk about in later
new,
episodes.
old.
Oh yeah. Well,
listen, I'm down for whatever. I'll even do research on nothing if you want me to.
Oh yeah. And I'm constantly looking at like comment. I love engaging, even if you're saying something like criticizing.
Oh, you're getting married?
Huh? Oh, I see.
You said you love engaging.
Yeah, I'm Ross from Friends.
I don't get that joke.
Okay, well,
I grew up in a black household.
So, oh my God. Okay, I can't think of the name. Come on, help me out.
Rachel.
Rachel. Okay.
Courtney Cox's character.
No, it's Rachel.
David the Schwim.
Yeah, he's Ross, and he's been divorced like 3 times.
That's crazy. I didn't know that actually.
And somebody's trying to convince him, like, you proposed, and he's like, no, I didn't. And then he takes like a step back, and he's like, did I? He didn't, but he's so used to propose. Like,
Yeah.
one of his go-tos is like, I'm going to propose. And so he's like, did I? And it's one of the few, like, really funny parts in the show.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's not as good as it used to be.
Oh, like
Just
like after the initial watch, or like is it just dated and just enough to like kind of be out of like the zeitgeist of like funny, you know?
so I think some of the humor has been replaced by frustration watching it, which I guess is intentional. I don't know. It just doesn't feel as funny anymore.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of those shows like they tend to be dated, you know, especially from the fact that like for a very like brief moment in time, especially in the 90s or like the early 2000s, like humor was so like every single sitcom or every single like show was doing the same exact thing, you know what I'm saying? And it was very hard to just be like, oh, this one's the best. I think Friends started it off, you know, I believe it was like one of the first ones to do that, but like there's so many shows from that time that just like do the same thing. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
how could this one be any more special than any of the other ones? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've
Yeah.
never seen it personally. I know the ones that I always hear good things about are like
How I Met Your Mother's good.
Seinfeld. Oh, I've never even watched an episode of that.
Seinfeld's good. Seinfeld is funny. Yeah, Seinfeld's really funny.
Frasier, I hear good things about Frasier.
Never
you
seen
know, yeah, me neither.
Ah.
You know, like Third Rock from the Sun. Like I said, I hear good things about those because I think they just were. I think they were just messing with the formula just enough to like kind of push past like the typical like sitcom humor, you know?
Yeah, do something.
Maybe.
Give it a twist. Like, give it a spin. Because if you're all
Yeah.
using the same cookie cutter, you gotta give it some flair to make it stand out. So,
How many pieces of flair do you have? Tell me down in the comments, please.
how many flares you got? How many
Yeah.
holy underwear you got?
Like Jesus wore 'em?
Amen.
My gardener.
We love a good pun around here.
Oh man, somebody's gonna hate me for that.
Amen. Somebody's gonna clip that. Say, cancel this man.
Yeah, cancel this man. Get rid of him.
All right. Well, everyone, have a great day. Have a great night.
Yes.
Have a great morning,
Yes.
depending on where you're watching from. And stay safe out there.
Yeah.
See you guys in the next one.
Oh man.